So it's a huge privilege to be invited to kick off what is a very important day. So my name's Andrew. I'm a doctor specialising in diabetes. I was also the chief scientist in Scotland, and I've observed over the years the huge success and contribution that you have all made to science in Scotland. So I just wanted personally to say a huge thank you. Also to say thank you because you've forgone the opportunity to participate in the moonwalk and the suffragette march. So there's maybe still time for the latter. But I did want to emphasize the contributions you've made because we're trying to position Scotland as world leading on the world stage on how we use information derived from cohorts, which are groups of people that we follow over time, to make an impact. Because this isn't just about academic endeavor, it's about making a difference to people and populations, health and society. And I just want to emphasize that the work that you've participated in has had a hugely important for the health of the nation. So let me try and build that case. So next month, you may know, we'll be celebrating the 70th birthday of the National Health Service. It's outlived 14 prime ministers, so it must be good. It was launched on the 3rd of July 1948 in Trafford General Hospital in Manchester. Any Mancunians in the audience? Oh, good. So when he launched it, Nye Bevan said, "It's quite the most ambitious adventure in the care of national health that any country has ever seen." And I think we all take pride in the NHS. And one of the reasons it has survived has been its ability to grow and to adapt to technological change and demographic challenge. And that needs research. We wouldn't have changed the NHS unless we'd had research. And perhaps one of the best examples of that, in 1948, the average life expectancy in men was 66. It's now 79. That's an increase in 20%. In women, average life expectancy in 1948 was 71. It's now 83 in the UK. The women always edge the men, you notice, which is a good thing. So research has had a huge impact and is core business as we try to design health services. And I say that today's research is tomorrow's care. So thank you for participating in today's research. So in my own brief career, I graduated from the University of Glasgow in 1987. And if someone was admitted to my ward with a heart attack, what did we do? We put them in bed for a week and we gave them aspirin. That's what we did. Now, how that has changed. There were no clotbusters then, no stents, no angioplasties, no medical resonance imaging. And that has been driven, because that's now state of the art, through research. And it's becoming increasingly clear that studies of large numbers of people, so-called cohorts, like the studies that you've all engaged with, are absolutely instrumental for tomorrow's research and tomorrow's care. So perhaps a good example of that from a few years ago was in 1951 when Sir Richard Doll, he got 40,000 doctors across the UK to agree. Can you imagine that? That was quite impressive. So they agreed to participate in a study. It was a cohort study. And he looked at the effects of smoking on health. And for the first time, at the time, in 1951, smoking was regarded as being a healthy thing to do. And I'm sure you've seen the adverts. But what he showed was that smoking decreased lifespan by 10 years, and that 50% of people who smoke, that they died from diseases relative to smoking. And that's why eventually we've got the smoking ban in public places, and we're seeing a much greater improvement. So cohort studies are important, but they're going to become even more important. So why is that? So there are three reasons. Firstly, technological change, because in terms of science and the way we understand disease, we've seen three huge changes. The first is in the area of genetics. And as you know, we all have a genetic blueprint. It's 3 billion letters, which tells us the code of life. Now, in 2003, so that's about 15 years ago, for the first time ever, we defined what we call the genetic code of a person. And that cost $3 billion to do one person. It took 15 years and hundreds of scientists. So $3 billion is 20% of the entire NHS Scotland budget. So we wouldn't be able to do that today. We can do it today, however, because it costs £700. And we can do it in 2 days. And the colleagues you're going to listen to today are at the forefront of international science of understanding how genetics can influence health and disease. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that from the research you'll hear about today, we understand a lot more about what we call common conditions like heart disease, mental well-being, mental health challenges, asthma. And we understand about how biology and genetics influence how disease takes place. So that's good, but what's becoming increasingly important is that we need very large numbers of people to understand this complexity. So we can't do this on 5 people, we can't do it on 10, we can't do it on 1,000. We literally need tens and tens of thousands to show the altruism, as you've done, to support us to make the understanding of health and disease easier for the next generation. So I'd like to thank you today. I do think there's a terrific opportunity, if we get this right in a trustworthy way, to position Scotland at the forefront of this so-called fourth industrial revolution, that's seeing a fusion of biology with computational science. That's how we understand data. You've heard a lot about artificial intelligence, and physical sciences. So we're trying to work with the population to do that. And if we do that, which I'm confident we do, we will, because Scotland's a very good place to do this, I think that we will be world leading on the global stage on how we make medicine more predictive, participatory, preventative, and prescriptive in terms of giving you the right treatment at the right time so that we can improve health. And this won't only benefit our generation, but the generations of children to come. And I understand that the youngest member of the audience today is 19 weeks old. So welcome to him, because that's why we're doing this. So may I wish you a good day, but most importantly, a huge thank you, because without your support, enthusiasm, resilience, when you get that letter through the post, we would not be able to do any of the work that you will hear about today. So a huge thank you, and let's enjoy the day.